What is going on, everybody? This is Jay here from Maji and Jay. Today is September 9th of 2017 and I do live in South Florida. So as you guys know, there's a hurricane approaching us. It is called Irma. It's coming at a category 4, so this is a very dangerous storm. And now before I run out of power here in my house, I decided to just go ahead and entertain myself by completing the unboxing and the hands-on of the Bluboo S8. Now this device was purchased directly from Banggood.com and they had it at the pre-order price before, which was about $117. But now it went up, I think, to $179, where you can still get a coupon and get it for about $140, $145. So that's quite affordable for what this phone has to offer. Now, getting a look on the back side of the box, we're going to find all the specifications. We have the octa-core MTK6750T processor. It comes with the Android Nougat 7.0. The display is a 5.7 inch, this time with the 18:9 ratio, and for that reason it has a resolution of 1440 by 720 pixels. The camera on the back is going to be a true 13 megapixel sensor as well as a 3 megapixel sensor, and on the front we have a 5 megapixel sensor camera. Now the LTE bands are not supported here in the USA, so that's a major disappointment as always. It does come with Wi-Fi, GPS, AGPS, and GLONASS, and then here we can see some of the sensors like the G sensor, proximity sensor, and so on and so forth. So that's quite basic. It does have the USB Type-C and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and now pop open the box, and here we're going to find the device. Of course, again, ripping off the design of the Samsung Galaxy S8. Now I have to say that if you guys were thinking about buying a clone just because of the looks, this device is the closest right now to the original Samsung Galaxy S8, and it has the best specifications that you can find in the market. So here we have the 18:9 ratio screen, and even though it is not curved, I do like the resolution of it. It is basically 720p. And on the top here we have that 5 megapixel sensor that I was mentioning. We do have there the ear speaker and also the proximity and light sensor. Towards the bottom we got nothing here. All the capacitive keys are going to be located on the operating system. We have on the left hand side the volume rockers up and down. On the right side we had the power key. On the bottom here we had the USB Type-C with the main microphone and the loudspeaker. And as you guys have noticed here, we don't have the headphone jack. Now this is another major disappointment. So not only we don't have 4G LTE, now we don't have a headphone jack either, and they did include an adapter, but that still, guys, is very inconvenient to have something connected on here. You can lose that adapter and it's just a big hassle. On the top here we have the SIM tray. Again, it is a dual SIM, dual standby device and does support TF cards. And then on the back here we have the dual cameras. The bottom one is the 13 megapixel sensor, the upper one is the 3 megapixel sensor with the dual flash. We had the fingerprint scanner and the Bluboo logo, and then the back, I believe this could be made of glass, but it does look a little bit cheap in my opinion. But again, for the price, we really can't ask for much. So let's go ahead and set this aside for now, and let's look at the accessories that come included inside of the box. Now, what I do like about Bluboo is that normally they include cases with their devices, and that's exactly what they have done here. So first of all, we got the manuals. They are in English, so that's very cool. We do have the adapter that I was mentioning before for the headphone jack. So this is how it looks. It goes in the USB port, and then it converts to a headphone jack. Next, we got here a screen protector. Then we have a message here from Bluboo thanking me for purchasing their products. And then finally we have the silicone case. So setting this aside, we have the USB cable. This is again the USB Type-C cable. Next we got here the charger, and unfortunately guys, this is not the American charger, so we got the European kind, and I don't see any information here that is a fast charger, so this is just going to be standard. And for such a big battery, I'm not sure how well this is going to do, because we have a 3450 milliamp battery. That's quite big for a device with a 5.7 inch display and a basically a 720p resolution. So I would really like to see how this thing is going to work. I haven't tested it yet. I was using my own chargers, and then that's all we get inside of the box. So now let's go ahead and talk here a little bit more about the Bluboo S8 as always, guys. Okay, so here let's get started by comparing the front side of both the original Samsung Galaxy S8 and the Bluboo S8, and you guys can tell that they are not entirely the same. We have differences on the display side. Now, if you compare it frame-wise, you can see that the volume rockers are located almost on the same position, with the exception that we don't have that Bixby button. On the bottom side, the ports are located exactly in the same position, with the exception that we have a thicker device here. We have the loudspeakers, the main microphones, and then on the right side we find the power keys located almost on the same position as well. Now keep in mind that the Bluboo S8 is a little bit longer and also thicker. That's because we have that huge battery inside. And then here on the top you can see the SIM trays are located on the same position as well as the secondary microphone. So they definitely tried to rip off here the Samsung Galaxy S8, with the exception that, well, on the back the original has a single camera, and then on here we have a dual camera. So that's basically the main difference in design here. So with this being said, guys, let's go ahead and talk here about the operating system of the Bluboo S8. For the most part, it works quite well. Now, my major disappointment here is the fingerprint scanner. For some reason, they couldn't design it properly enough for it to feel comfortable in the hand, and it does fail almost all the time. Let me just go ahead and input here my password for the first time. Let me just go ahead and try that for you guys. Right now, I am trying to unlock it, and you guys can see that it failed, and it does it all the time. My fingers need to be extremely dry. So for that reason, guys, I had to give it a thumbs down on the fingerprint side. It did an awful job. But now I think that, again, the display is one of the highlights of this device. Just look at those colors. They're very nice and vibrant. Viewing angles are perfect. You can barely see the pixels on this device. So for that, I had to give it a thumbs up. Next, we got here the Antutu benchmark test that I completed. So I got a score of about 49,000 if I'm not mistaken. So that's quite okay considering the price of this device, and it was actually a 43,000. If you go here into the specs, we can see all the information on here. Nothing has been faked. That's the great news. It does have the Mali TA60, which is great for gaming, as we know already. We got the internal memory, the RAM, and all that great information. So heading here towards settings, you guys are going to see that this is a pretty simple device. You guys can see it doesn't have a lot of I would say features on here. They're very basic. We have the fingerprint scanner on here. I would suggest that if you guys really want to use the fingerprint scanner, just record your finger twice. That may give you a more accurate reading, but so far I did once and the reading is just absolutely terrible. Like I said, your finger must be very dry in order for it to read it properly. But now if you use something like the original Samsung Galaxy S8, this is going to be, of course, almost perfect. Barely any misreading. So again, Bluboo should have done a much better job on the fingerprints. And then here we have the about page for the phone, and it does carry the Android Nougat right there. This is all real, and that's definitely great. Also, you can hide here the mini key, or the task killer key, excuse me, the home key and the back key by just clicking on the arrow, and now you have a full view of the display. So the loudspeaker is about average. I mean, it's not too bad considering that this is a budget device. So let's go here into my videos. Let's go ahead and play one of my last videos, and that's going to be about the Xiaomi Mi 5X.
What is going on, everybody? This is Jay here from Maji and Jay. Today we have the Xiaomi Mi 5X that came directly from gearbest.com, and I have to say that this is one of the best budget phones of 2017, hands down, and that's because we have so many great qualities.
So now that we heard here the sound quality of the loudspeaker, I want to show you that this display does go up to 720p in quality, and there we can see it. So this is basically confirming that yes, we do have a true 720p display, which is absolutely amazing. Now, something I also want to mention is that with this display having the 18:9 ratio screen, we cannot make it bigger like we can on the Samsung Galaxy S8. It does have the special button here, or not special button, but it has the extra feature on the YouTube application that you can just make it a full screen. So unfortunately with the Bluboo S8 we cannot complete that, and I'm not sure if that's going to be a major disappointment for you guys. But when you're seeing this device in real life, that really doesn't bother you, especially after using it for a couple hours. So I don't see it as a big deal, to be honest with you guys. The next time we got here is the Geekbench 4 testing that I completed, and I have it here on history. Nothing very impressive, to be honest with you guys. I just completed this test yesterday, which is September 8th, and this is the score that I got for the single. I got 618, which is quite poor, and on the multi-core I got 2410. So something like on the Samsung Galaxy S8. As a matter of fact, let me just go ahead and open it so that way we can do a comparison of what a true flagship will really score, so that way you guys can have an idea. Let me just go ahead and open here Geekbench. Let's go into history, and then let's go into the most recent one. You guys can see that a true flagship will score a lot better. We have 1808 here for the single core on the Samsung Galaxy S8, and the multi-core is about almost 3 times more than on the Bluboo S8. And again, all this comes to the price. I mean, you're paying about $45 for the Bluboo S8, and this one here is still brand new. It's about $800 unlocked. So you guys can notice the difference is quite dramatic, and we can easily tell here from the performance. And now, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk here about the camera. The Bluboo S8 is quite standard, to be honest. It does have a true 13 megapixel sensor. Now, I haven't really check out the features of that secondary camera so far. I don't see anything that we can really do with it. Maybe some zooming, but that's really about it. But the quality for the most part is okay. I mean, it does the job quite well in the daylight time, but of course in low light conditions it's going to be a little bit poor. The pictures are going to have a lot of noise, and the colors are going to be very off. But again, for a device that only costs about $145, I really can't complain. On the front side here, we have the 5 megapixel sensor camera, and what I do like about it is that it doesn't lag that much. It's very nice and smooth. I mean, I have seen other cameras where the frames are very crappy, and every time you move your hand around it, it looks very choppy. So with the Bluboo S8, you're not going to have that problem. So I would say quite satisfied with the camera for a device of this price. It does come with all the Google applications for the most part. You get the Play Store. You don't get any errors whatsoever. So that's definitely great. And you can play, like I said, most games out there, especially with the Mali TA60. It does quite well with game. And also the cool part about this device, guys, is that it has a lot of animations that you can select. So if you hold and press the screen for a few seconds, on the bottom here you guys can see that we have the special effects. Right now the one that I have is cube. You can change it to stack, dissolve, and then also the classic. So I do like the cube one. And then apart from this, if you hold and press it again, let me just go ahead and complete that for you guys. You have all the settings on here. You can go to desktop settings, where it's going to allow you to again change some animations on here, do shortcuts and whatnot. So that's really cool. Next, let me just go back here to the main page. Let's hold and press it again. We have here batch arrangement, and this one I haven't really used, so I'm not sure exactly what this is for, to be honest. But we do have the standard wallpaper selection on here, and that's pretty much all we get. Also, we have this very cool application called Quick Touch, and basically this is like a shortcut for apps that you have recently downloaded, and even the ones that already came with the device. So for instance, if I click on this little circle, you can see I can access the camera, I can lock the screen, I can go to settings, alarms, calculator, and of course you can customize it and add more applications into it. So we got the Wi-Fi settings, GPS, and so on and so forth. Now the device also came with a lot of bloatware. We have some here that I can't delete, like 360 security. You have speed up, and then here I believe on tools I think we have some more, but we do have one here called freezer. And let's go here into system apps. You guys can see all the ones we have on here. Some of them are just gimmicky, to be honest with you guys, but most of them are useful. It came with a pretty decent keyboard. You had the sound recorder, video player, contacts, downloads, and all that standard Android stuff. So yes, this is a pretty complete device in my opinion, according to the price. And if you're getting this in a country where you're going to get 4G LTE support, I would say definitely go for it, as it does have a very nice battery, very nice qualities. The foam feels very nice and firm, and as you guys saw from the unboxing part, it does come with a case, it does come with screen protectors and a whole bunch of accessories that are very useful for the phone. So with this being said, like always, if you guys do have any questions, just let me know in the comment section below. Please like this video, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next one.